Again, your entire onboard service crew and train crew of the California Zephyr would like to thank you all for choosing Amtrak as your mode of transportation. Have a very safe and pleasant stay in Chicago or wherever your final destinations may be. And again, think of choosing Amtrak in the near future as your mode of transportation.
Hi. That building right over there, and we'll get a little closer, I think, is in his new job. You can see that scene. There's a scene where they're throwing the actor out the door, and through the front door of the studio, you can see that building.
Well, should we take a walk down there?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Right over here you can see that the auditorium inside is called the Chaplin Auditorium, and it's now St. Augustine College. And there's actually two buildings. This building for a long time was owned by a company called the Essanay Studio. It was a film lighting company, and they would do lighting for films, and they kept the name Essanay, and then St. Augustine took it back, and now they own both buildings, and they recently put in this precipice between the two buildings, this walkway. Now this is the building right here, and I believe that we figured out once when we were here that the entrance, that door in the movie, was probably right about here. I'm guessing right about here. You stand over here, and if you look this way, it seems like that's about the angle that you see in the film.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yes.
I can't stand him.
David Keane, when he was here several years ago doing a story on Essanay, we came here to the studio and he related a story to me that I just love. One of the windows back here was, I believe, Spore's window. And David was telling me that he looked out one day and he saw Ben Turpin scaling the fence back here, climbing over into the cemetery and placing flowers from the studio on a grave. And when Turpin came back in, he told me, he said, that's great that we would take our flowers and put them on the graves. Let's do that all the time. And Turpin said, that's where we get them. So I thought that was just a great story.
Anything else in it? Okay. We can check the
Oh, so it's designated as a landmark. You can't change it.
Reserve it. That's all we can do.
Right. Well, isn't that interesting? Because, that's the way it is.
The first time I was in here, I was probably 8 years ago or so. The dean of the school at the time was showing me around and so on. We came into this room, and it was, as you see it now, just a big empty room. And I said, well, why is it called the Chaplin Auditorium? And she said, well, this is where Charlie filmed the movie that he made at the studio. And of course, I kind of stood there and just shivered a little bit. It was just great. And the people of the school have just been fabulous. And hopefully we can go into the basement and see where the film vault is, because that's very cool.
Is that dark? Let me put the light on then. Let me get the light on. I think this.
Yeah, this is
Oh, honey, you want to get a thing of this? Look, it says store safety film only 13.
And I think they told us when we were here many years ago that this door, they've been unable to open this door.
It was hard.
Oh, but it has been opened?
Yeah, it was open. What? Maybe in '81.
Oh, okay, so it is open now.
Because actually, in fact, we pulled a lot of those metal racks from there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of dust.
Oh yeah.
Nothing
No
valuable, no films. Nothing. That's the storage.
Oh my God.
See, you see the side racks? I removed the middle one. There was one in the middle. Where he's standing now, there was one.
Oh, so those racks were there.
Right.
So you're in charge of all the renovations and...
No, I did not do the renovation.
I'm sure it's because this hasn't been opened that for a long time, but that when he opened the door, I felt real chill.
Yeah. It feels like it's
Oh, so
holding.
you're just the day-to-day...
Look at that door frame, jeez.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So are you into...
So,
Charlie Chaplin?
Rick and Jodie, what are your feelings about being inside the room where Chaplin came in, I don't know how many times, and probably his new job was actually stored here?
Oh, it's great. I just hope they don't shut the door on us.